Sweet. So we are, where's my thing at? There we are. Out of the way. We are into the quadratic formula. And so by now you should have watched those videos that I had posted for you with the different songs and the stories. It's really fun. It's helpful to know. And it's just something that should be committed to memory. Yeah, that's about all I can say about the quadratic formula. The beauty in it is it works for every quadratic equation, no matter what. So you'll see it doesn't matter what equation we have, we could use it to solve for any of them. We don't have to worry about, should we complete the square? Should we do square roots? Do we factor? Does it factor? Is the A1? Is the A not 1? Nope. Quadratic formula is awesome because you plug any, whatever it is, you can use it. But let's talk about first, we have the quadratic equations, ax squared plus bx plus c equals 0. You see that at the top right here. And then the equation, of course, x equals negative b plus or minus the square root of b squared minus 4ac all over 2a. I still sing the song in my head. So in the quadratic formula, if you notice under the square root here, just the b squared minus 4a, we call it the discriminant. And so the discriminant, as you can see, tells us how many solutions the equation has and what type they are. We're not talking about the types at all for us in this class, but sometimes you'll know, as you get higher in your math career, there'll be different types of equations. So first one, you can see has two solutions, real solutions. You see the graph crosses twice. Once there for the x-intercepts. We have a, b, and c. So to find the discriminant, it's just b squared minus 4ac. So it's negative 3 squared minus 4 times negative 1 times 4. And that simplifies to 9. Oh, I'll just do it all at once. So 3 squared, negative 3 squared, minus 4 times negative 1 times 4. And that gives me 25, which is a positive number. So anytime you get a positive number, that's where you know you have two solutions. Reason for that is if you take the square root of 25, right, that'd be plus or minus 5. For one solution, same idea. Let's do negative 6 squared minus 4 times 1 times 9. That's 36 minus 36. You get 0. So 0 means we have one solution because the square root of 0 is just 0. There's no positive 0. There's no negative 0. It's just 0. And sometimes we have no solution. Sometimes there's no solution. It doesn't cross the graph at all. You'll see here negative 2 squared minus 4 times 1 times 3. And then 4 minus 12 is negative 8. So that's a negative number. And you can't take the square root of negative because, again, we're just looking under the square root. And that's eventually, what we would do. Let's take the square root of a negative. So positive is 2, 0 is 1, and negative has no solution. So let's actually get into it and see. That just helps us figure out what number of solutions we have. So quadratic formula, I'm just going to do one for you. And then I'll have you pause the video and do the next two. So the steps real quick. Make sure the equation is equal to 0. Make sure it's equal to 0. So the first one, we'll subtract 10 on both sides. Boom, rewrite 3x squared. I'm actually going to rewrite on the side here. 3x squared plus 4x minus 10 equals 0. To identify A, B, C. And then we'll plug in the quadratic formula and solve. So A, I label this, got A, B, C, so let's just do it. X is equal to negative B, so negative 4, plus or minus the square root of B squared minus 4 times A times C, all over 2A, which in this case is 3. So that means X is going to be equal to, well, let's do it. Negative 4 plus, let's do it this way. Negative 4 plus the square root. We got to do one at a time. Of 4 squared minus 4 times 3 times negative 10 all over 6. You get X is about equal to 1.28. And X is equal to, they're going to do the same thing, but negative. Subtract. We're subtracting. And we get negative 2.61. So there are my two answers for X. So two solutions, which is great. All right, I'm gonna have you guys pause the video right here and have you try the next two. So pause the video and then continue on when you're done. Okay, number two, let's add 13x on both sides. Let's also add 16 while we're at it. We have 4x squared plus 16x plus 16 equals 0. So we got, it's always nice to label A, B, C. So x is equal to the negative b plus or minus the square root b squared minus 4ac all over 2a. I always sing the song. Okay, let's just get right into here. We got negative 16 plus or minus 16 squared minus 4 times 4 times 16 all over 8. My first answer is x is equal to negative 2. And my second one here is, got to change that to a plus. Also, oh, negative 2. Only one answer. So that's one solution. Doesn't matter if I did plus or minus, still got negative 2. So then my discriminant in here must be 0. Last one, add 1 on both sides, set it equal to 0. 5x squared plus 2x plus 1 equals 0. This is probably a no solution, I'm assuming. Just because we have a 2 and a 1 already, so A, B, C. So x is equal to negative b plus or minus the square root b squared minus 4ac all over 2a. Doing the calculator, 2 squared is 4 minus 20. That's what's happening in here. Is negative 16. I can't take the square root of a negative, so that answer is just no solution. Wah, wah. So there we go, quadratic formula working. It's great. I love quadratic formula. It just makes life so easy. All right, last example, word problem. Of course, we always end up with the word problem. We always have to do our applications. So a juggler tossed the ball in the air. Think about juggle ball in the air. Leaves her hand 3 feet above the ground, has an initial false leave 20. So we're gonna use this formula, quadratic formula. Since she catches the ball when it falls back to a height of 4 feet, how long is the ball in the air? So h is the height, and it's equal to negative 16 t squared plus the velocity. I don't know time. It actually wants how long is the ball in the air. So we're solving for time. My velocity, 20 feet per second, t. Its initial height was 3. She catches the ball and it falls back to a height of 4 feet. So my height here is actually going to be 4. How long is the ball in the air? Follow the steps. Set equal to 0, quadratic formula. Boom. Subtract 4. So I have 0 is equal to negative 16t squared plus 20t minus 1. I mean, it makes sense. It means the ball went up 1 foot, right? She threw it at 3 feet. She caught it at 4 feet. There's a difference of minus 1 between the two. Okay. A, B, and C. A, B, C. So x is equal to negative 20 plus or minus the square root of 20 squared minus 4. I notice all of my b values have been positive. They're not always. Make sure you put them in parentheses so you know about the sign changes. Negative 16 times negative 1 all over 2a. And let's just find out what happens. So negative 20 plus the square root of 20 squared minus 4, negative 16 times negative 1, all over negative 32. So I got x is equal to, or I guess in this case it's t, right? So my time is equal to 0.05. That's seconds. So I don't think that's right. We have to think logically. Like we can't have two answers for this. Or 1.19 or 1.20 seconds. So if you throw a ball, obviously not 0.05 of a second. So you have to think logically about this. So it's definitely not that one. So the answer is 1.20 seconds. All right, quadratic formula. I was so excited for quadratic formula. I think quadratic formula is fantastic. Excuse me. Last section, solving nonlinear systems. Kind of a little different, kind of similar. But you'll see when we get there. We're going to be doing some more graphing and using Desmos. So make sure you're ready for Desmos. But I'll see you there.